Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy, know y'all with me, let's get it, baby, Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy, know you with me, let's get it, baby. Boys just came back from their mission, we going crazy. Kalani, you got no problems.
Welcome back to another edition of the KSL.com Cougar Beat podcast. A special edition today. Another special edition. We've been talking a lot of basketball lately. It's that time of year. This is March. It is officially March as we are recording this. March 1st, the greatest month of the year. The month that includes the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournaments. We love March here on the podcast. That's an official statement. And I wanted to stay in basketball today, but bring you guys a little bit different of a story. This one involves BYU junior, or at least she should be a junior guard for the BYU women's basketball team, Arielle Mackey-Williams. This is a player who last year as a sophomore, she started all 32 games for BYU in Amber Whiting's first season at the helm, averaged 34.9 minutes per contest, 15.1 points on 39% shooting, led the Cougars with 144 total assists and 4.5 assists per game, and held the second highest three-point percentage at 37.7%. She is BYU's second leading rebounder to only the machine Lauren Gustin at 3.9 per game, and she was expected to play a very large role on this BYU women's basketball team as it headed into its first season in the Big 12 with a star-studded freshman class that included Amari Whiting and Kaylee Woolston, who you guys are seeing right now on the court. But Arielle Mackey-Williams never actually made it to the court this year. In the offseason, she tore her anterior cruciate ligament, her ACL, suffered a season-ending knee injury before the season began, underwent surgery, and to hear her words, she went through a little bit of a dark time. It was tough. It's tough when you grow up a basketball player and the game is taken away from you, perhaps prematurely. So Arielle Mackey-Williams was in a tough place. And it was in that tough time that she found a light, a little bit of a spark. She started to think about things beyond basketball. She started to think about herself spiritually. She started to think about her relationship with God. And because she's at BYU, she started having to have spiritual conversations with her coaches, her teammates, her friends, roommates, etc. An aunt and an uncle who we'll get to in a moment. And she eventually started going to church, reading her scriptures, the Bible, and the Book of Mormon included. And eventually she took the discussions from the missionaries and to learn more about the church and more about the gospel. Fast forward to last Sunday, Arielle Mackey-Williams posted on her Instagram that she had the opportunity to be at BYU, to grow her testimony and gain a stronger relationship with their Heavenly Father. I'm reading this straight from her Instagram account, at Arielle Mackey, if you want to read along. This evening, quote, I was able to finally become a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So many people to thank for coming and making this day special. I know that Heavenly Father loves each and every one of us, and He has a plan for us. So after those dark times, after her trials, her tribulations, after figuring out who she was without basketball, Arielle Mackey-Williams opted to be baptized a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, joining her family, her entire family, her mom, her stepdad, her siblings that she gets into a little bit in our conversation were members of the church, not all fully active or entirely active, but they were members of the church. She said she always felt like eventually the church would come into play, but it took a really tough time and kind of a dark moment at times, that of her season-ending ACL tear, to figure out how much she needed God's light and God's love in her life. And so I'm going to get into my conversation with Arielle Mackey-Williams, BYU women's basketball guard who was recently baptized, a member of the LDS Church. And hopefully, this conversation can maybe spark something in somebody out there, somebody who needs the light of the gospel in their life, or just needs to grow the relationship with God a little bit more. I think it's really cool, really powerful, just hearing her kind of come to terms with a scary place and how she got out of it. So here's Arielle Mackey-Williams, BYU women's basketball, on her conversion to the LDS Church shortly after, literally just a few days after her baptism into the church. Enjoy.
So I've always kind of been surrounded by the church, like growing up. My mom and my stepdad, and then my siblings, they're members of the church for whatever reason, like their own reasons, they're inactive right now. So I've always been around like the church and stuff like that. But for me, I think what sparked my decision in wanting to join the church was definitely my ACL injury. I think, like when
Oh,
I look
really?
at, yeah, I think when I look at it in the hindsight, I think it always was going to happen. It was just a matter of like when for me. So I think with my injury, yeah, that was a big spark for me wanting to get baptized.
Yeah. Well, what was it? What was it kind of specifically? Because um, Amari Whiting actually told me kind of a very similar thing last year. I was talking to her after she tore her ACL, and she told me like the hardest thing was not necessarily even like the mental strain of going through that injury and tearing it and then surgery and all that, but there was like a spiritual strain of like she felt like she needed to rely on God a little bit more. Is that kind of similar with you? Is you just sort of felt like kind
Yeah.
of this need, I guess, through all of that, or
Yeah, no, for sure. For me personally, I mean, mentally, it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like it's all taken a toll on me just having to be on the sidelines and not playing with my team. But yeah, definitely spiritually, I would say, I definitely questioned a lot of my faith initially when I was going through my injury. So I think that's where the church just starting to like read scriptures and going to church with teammates and stuff like that more consistently helped me kind of grow my faith and trusting in his timing.
yeah, for sure. Well, how kind of on that note, how big of a blessing was it to be at a place like BYU where stuff like that is very open? Like even when you weren't a member and whatnot, you um, I don't want to say had to take religion classes, but well, I mean, let's be real, they were
Let's be real,
required,
I
right?
had to, yeah.
Taking religion classes. Yeah, like they were required there, and your teammates seem like they're very open people about faith. Your coaches have been that kind of thing. Like, has it been kind of a blessing to be in that environment while you were struggling or striving or going through all that to be able to have teammates, friends, coaches that you could kind of bounce all of this off of?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's just a blessing in myself, of having the opportunity to be here at BYU. My freshman year, especially my uncle and my auntie, my uncle was the one who actually baptized me. They helped me just with my transition. Being like freshman year was really, really tough for me, as it is for like a lot of other international, like just other freshmen, I feel like. So they actually were the ones that helped my process and like getting me like taking into church with them and just helping me learn more about the church. But no, yeah, my coaches and my teammates are definitely very big influence, and they've been very supportive with my spiritual journey. Don't mind Lee walking in the back. He's trying to find something.
I don't know where it is. Sorry.
I love that. Hi, Lee.
Hey.
Uh, um,
All
but
American.
but maybe a little bit on that note too. We were talking to Amber some yesterday, um, and she mentioned just there were conversations that you guys had. A lot of times they had nothing to do with basketball, but she mentioned the time that you told her you want to start meeting with the missionaries, and you texted her when you decided to get baptized, and that sort of thing. But did it help to maybe see some of these, I guess, like basketball people and maybe a different light, a more personal life of like this is did it feel maybe like you were at BYU for something more than basketball, I guess,
Yeah,
through
no,
this journey?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think when I look back at it, my decision coming here to BYU, I felt like definitely everything happens for a reason. So yeah, looking at the hindsight of it, yeah, there always was more of a purpose for me, I think, coming here to BYU, besides playing basketball.
I didn't want to talk too much about basketball during this conversation, but that feels like a perfect transition to ask you, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You look like you're super healthy. I saw you hit that half court shot a couple weeks ago, so obviously you're shooting a little bit, some. Obviously, still trying to get the strength back in your knee and everything. But how are you feeling? It's a couple months post surgery and in your rehab process and all that.
Yeah, no, I'm doing really good. I'm 5 months post surgery next Tuesday, so I'm 19 weeks today. My leg feels really great, which is kind of the hard thing for me too, if I'm gonna be honest, because I'm at the point where I'm like, man, it feels fine. Like, put me in, like, like I just want to play. But no,
Yeah.
otherwise my leg's doing really good. I feel really good mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Yeah, so I feel like it's just all kind of connected with my baptism and stuff like that, and just talking to the missionaries and stuff like that. So this whole journey has been really, really good in terms of with my injury.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that the well-rounded soul really is a thing. Like it's hard to be unhealthy in one area, physically, mentally, spiritually, and then trying to be healthy in other areas. Like it all kind of bleeds into sort of one being or one soul, if you will, I guess. For sure. Do you feel like going through the spiritual journey that you've been on, do you feel like that's made you a better, maybe even in some ways like a better basketball player?
Yeah, I feel like it's made me a better person in a way. I feel like I'm always, especially now these days, I'm always smiling and happy, and just I'm always cheering and like just having a lot of fun times with my teammates, off the court and also on the court, just watching them on the sidelines and cheering for them. I feel like my perspective on a lot of things, especially in life, has turned more into like a positive mindset for me. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Awesome. Super cool. Well, I know you don't have a ton of time. You probably have to run and whatnot, but I wanted to say congratulations again. Really, really happy for you. And like I said, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is Ari. Like she's still the same old Ari. And yet I can see like a little bit more light around you, a little bit more positivity, more upbeat. And I still want to know, by the way, I'll let you go on this. I still want to know where you got that fit from Pink Night last week.
The game or the outfit? Oh, I just got that. I got that from Nike. I just got it online.
Oh, you just bought it online?
Yeah, that's no secret to it. I just found it online.
Okay, it was just online. I think I need something like that jumpsuit. It was awesome. It was amazing. I also found a pair of I think they're Kobe's that have a little pink tinge to it. And I was like, these would look really good with that pink suit that Ari had. I think I might need to at least grab the hoodie. Maybe I probably can't pull off the whole thing. But I think I want the hoodie.
Yeah, no, the hoodies, it's comfortable and like it keeps you warm. So it's a great hoodie.
Rock your hands.
Well, I need
Rock
that
by babies, rock the stands with the fans. If you with us, raise your hands. Rock up by baby, rockin' Navy. Shout out to my teams, wives and babies. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy. Know you with me? Let's get it, baby. Rockin' Royal, rockin' Navy. Know you with me? Let's get it, baby. We going long like a cougar tail. Defense hitting hard like some seashells. Get into the green, I ain't talking kale. Boy, that team